Okay, so just how critical are early warning systems as well as effective preparedness? For more insight into this important issue, we're joined by Daniel Kreeger. He is the executive director and co-founder of the Association of Climate Change Officers. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in and chatting with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay, those painful memories, Texas, that flooding that killed more than 100 people, of course, still very fresh in everyone's minds. But soon we're going to be in the teeth of the hurricane season. So how important is it to have crisis management plans in place and to test those plans ahead of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely vital. And it's not just the systems themselves, but it's our usage of the systems and the way we communicate and educate the general public. And key figures who play roles in communicating and continuing that communication chain to the right people.
Okay, how about the need, though, for early warning protocols and procedures? What might those look like for different types of disasters in different regions? Of course, a lot of focus in the United States, as we've been talking about, the budget cuts, especially in areas that could very well affect the way that these weather warnings do reach the public.
Yeah, I mean, we need more resources in this, well spent, well designed, well implemented. But, you know, the hurricane season is something, the areas that typically get hit by hurricanes, those areas I tend to be less worried about, areas like Miami, where seasoned veterans, if you will. It's when these systems either pop up out of nowhere because they weren't hurricane systems, or when these hurricanes go to places that typically have not seen this, like Western North Carolina a couple of years ago. That's where I really get concerned.
Yeah, when those storms, it hit the coast, punished the coast, the storm surge, but then moved up into Appalachia, and all that rain brought flooding from the mountains. And that's really the thing. And also tornado warnings, because they come up very quick. People see hurricanes approaching very frequently, very slowly, but tornadoes come out of nowhere, and you have to depend on those sirens really in many areas. And we've seen time and time again where communities have been caught flat-footed. Is that going to get worse, do you believe, in the face of these budget cuts?
Well, not only is it going to get worse in the face of the budget cuts because we're dismantling systems, but it's getting worse in the face of the threat being multiplied with climate change. We need to be thinking back to the kind of warning systems we had in World War II and in the Cold War, the sort of nuclear disaster warning systems where we were trained and learning how to prepare for and how to react and have the right systems in place along with that.
You know, and on the heels of all this, 20 states are now suing federal government, concerned that FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is going to be basically gutted. And what many not know, this is the 20th anniversary, this year, the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina that devastated New Orleans and much of the Gulf Coast and really was a wake-up call.
I mean, we thought it was. It should have been. You know, so were numerous other storms, Superstorm Sandy, Hurricane Irma in Florida. I mean, these are all, there's an endless sequence of major events, and that's just on the hurricane and flood side, wildfires too. We have, culturally, we have to get systemically better at this. This is a challenge. We have it within us to do this, but we're not doing it now.
What about the lawsuits? Do you think they're going to have any effect?
You know, you'll get some more attention. Certainly, it's drawing media attention, and more media attention is important here. But I think there's a cultural shift that needs to take place, and we've got to get into communities here that historically, frankly, have either ignored or disavowed these warnings and really re-educate and re-engage.
Let's talk about some of the things that are working, because I've been covering these things for a long time, and now when I go into coastal areas, we see those signs, coastal evacuation routes. Those are clearly out there, seemingly everywhere. But what other kind of early warning protocols are effective?
Well, I mean, those protocols actually work, but these are communities that have accepted culturally that these things are going to happen and are adapting. The challenge is you go to where this area is where the floods hit in Texas just now, or in Western North Carolina. They haven't made that acceptance. They haven't made that adaptation. So it's not that the systems don't work. They're not being used. They haven't accepted that this is a risk that they need to prepare for.
Yeah, and you have a federal government that basically denies that climate change exists, really the only nation on Earth out there, you know, seemingly hitting this time and time again. I know there's not one size fits all, but if you think about hot weather out west and the fact that winds can fan flames from wildfires. We see what's going on the north rim of the Grand Canyon right now. We have tornadoes in the middle of the United States, and of course all the coastal areas affected by storms. How far in advance do people need to be warned about a possible crisis?
Well, we need to have the understanding in general so that we're prepared when we are warned that it's happening to be able to act, whether it's go get goods and such, so if power goes out that we can persist, or whether it's move to safer places. We have to move to a realm of understanding not just what our impact on the environment is,
Right.
but the world is changing around us, and there are going to be acute shocks and disaster events that pop up quickly or maybe not so quickly that we need to be prepared to deal with. But we have to start with the underlying acceptance that there are things outside of our fence line that can harm us, and we need to be prepared to deal with them.
With that in mind, quickly, what responsibility do individuals have to take care of themselves and make sure they have the resources there?
Well, I mean, it's learning, a willingness to go and seek out information from credible sources, which we need to have in place to say, okay, am I in an area? Am I looking at home in an area? What do I do? What is my personal resilience plan? Where do I go when somebody credible says, hey, there's a really significant event about to happen or probably going to happen? We need to get to safety.